those fringes?
Yeah, so as Kdub pointed out, if you look right over here, look, if you'll see fringes. Now they're going to be more clear later, but also you should have noticed that was the first Kwam Yasharallah. What's your experience with Kwam Yasharallah, Kdub? Not everybody doesn't know what it means.
Well, yeah, what it means is rise Israel, but typically what you when you hear it being done, it's when something either humiliating or violent happening. So typically when people kiss the boots of Israel, kiss the boots of the Israelites, you hear they'll say Kwam Yasharallah. So this will be a rise Israel moment, which is kind of sickening. Not kind of, it is.
All things theology. We chop it up properly without an apology. Gotta give doxology to God hollow, because this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
Yo, grace and peace, guys. Welcome to another episode of All Things Theology, where I'm your host, Kdub. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and always, if you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section. I was recently on Vocab Malone's platform discussing a new kind of trend, or maybe not an old new trend, but a reoccurring trend that we're seeing. And that's a lot of Hebrew Israelite violence, particularly the One West sect, doing violence on the streets. It is a dangerous place to be on the streets of One West. What you're about to see is the footage of that and also commentary along with the violence. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Graphic and violent attack caught on cell phone video on a busy Hollywood street. Now police are trying to find the people responsible for this attack. Rick Lozano has the latest on the investigation.
A tourist fights for his life as an angry mob repeatedly chases him down and ultimately beats him senseless. An attack LAPD is now calling a hate crime. The ugly incident captured on cell phone video by Ramondo Taylor, an East Hollywood resident who happened to be in the area.
And then one person grabbed him and the guy tried to punch back, and then that's when everything happened. And then they went to the street, and then one person decided to get a chair, and then they knocked him out.
The confrontation started because the victim, who had just stepped off a subway on Hollywood Boulevard, told a street preacher that he was delivering the wrong message. Several people took offense and resorted to violence.
I never seen this in my life, and I thought, okay, is something gonna happen to me? Because they got close to me, so I had to move out of the way, but I was really frightened.
The mob was relentless. Watch the man in the red shirt kick the victim after he's already down and unconscious.
He got knocked out in the street and stuff, and they started beating him up and everything, and throwing chairs and stuff like that.
An ugly scene for sure, but people familiar with the area say random attacks are becoming more commonplace.
Well, I kind of bumped into somebody and she turned around and just started beating on us at this train station. And we were lucky that the cops or the LAPD was there to help us.
As for Saturday night's attack, Taylor says thankfully not everyone was out for blood.
And one lady came up and protected his head, and then this other guy came up and protected his body and stuff.
The victim, identified only as a white male, was taken to a local hospital. His condition remains unknown. People we spoke with are using his misfortune to think twice about walking the streets of Hollywood.
I saw someone get shot while walking my dog one time. It's not, I mean, right now it's obviously peaceful, but later in the evening, things start to change.
LAPD investigators still are not releasing the victim's name, and as of now, no arrests have been made in this case. In downtown Los Angeles, Rick Lozano, Fox 11 News.
Kdub, thoughts here?
Man, wicked people, man. Just the nature of many One West people involved in that is displaying their heart, really, so it's just crazy.
True. Unfortunate Now we're going to take a look at some of this other footage and see what we can piece together here in a second, because I think we're going to be able to look at some stuff in his video footage that I think will help us see kind of what was going on. And so that's what we're going to do right now. So you've watched this already, K-Dub, and this is probably a good chance now that the brother is off, because I didn't want to take up his time with shout-outs. But shout-out to the live chat, Brendan Meehan, Kaylee from Canada, Alfredo, Valentine, Noah, how you doing? Tanya, Dinu, Georges, ex-Hebrew Israelite in the building. Rusha, how you doing? Hey, what's up, Robski, representing the CO, South Side of Columbus champion and all that. Nate, very faithful brother, much love. And we have Brian Israel says shalom. I do hope that's the case. We haven't seen peace yet, but nonetheless, we know that God is a God of peace, and there is a day when the Messiah comes and restores everything, makes it better, makes all things new, the scripture says, and sets everything right, and we look forward to the day. In the meantime, we watch videos of assaults in the street of L.A., try to figure out what is going on, because this relates to theology. I mean, you and I heard the Kwam Yasharal at the end of the video, which we're going to show. We're going to play it again. We're going to let people hear. And we noticed he said they were preaching the wrong message. People took offense. They assaulted him. This is all related to Hebrew Israelism. So that's why the title of this is Hebrew Israelites Involved in LA Hate Crime. Because the cops are saying they're going to be possibly calling it a hate crime. There must be a reason for that. It's rare for them to do that kind of thing in these cases. And but that's what they're saying. So let's take a look here at the raw footage together. Oops, I just messed up on the camera, what I'm trying to do here. Let me hopefully fix that. Okay, so this is his. I just want to point out, even while this is happening, if you listen closely, it's kind of hard because there's so much going on. You can hear the street preaching still, even during the melee. There's someone on the mic. You can't obviously make out what they're saying, but there's someone on the mic at this moment while this is going on. And we can recognize the sound of a One West street preacher when we hear it. By the way, if you appreciate the content we do, please consider becoming a Patreon. Please consider becoming a Patreon. If you can't do a monthly or annual type thing that Patreon is, hit me up on PayPal or Cash App. The information is there. And if not, also you could even help yourself out by getting some Logos. You get a discount. I don't know if it's still 20%. It might be 10% now, but use that discount code. Then it helps get some free Logos books for this ministry for research. It's not a financial thing. It's more of a research and resources thing, but it still helps. Obviously, follow and subscribe at Vocab Malone across all social media. Same thing with Kdubtru, all things theology. Everything I said also applies to that, brother. And also hit us up on Streamlabs. I think Brother Nate, could you drop the Streamlabs link in there? And I'll pin it. I'll pin it in the live chat. But watch this as we continue on. And I want you to notice a few things, audience. Notice the background. Okay, notice carefully the background of where he's at, where this video is, because it's going to be relevant later. So put on your Sherlock hats or whatever you want to say. And also notice some of the things, such as the white chair and the orange coolers. Notice that as well, all right? Now, let's continue on watching this. It is hard to watch, and it is noisy, but it's important. And it's cell phone footage, so that's why it's like this, but here we go. That's right. That's a Hebrew Israelite saying that.
Absolutely.
And we know because it's the same person who later on is going to say Kwam Yasharala. Mm-hmm. But you hear that, K-Dub, right? And that's,
definitely.
Yeah, that's right. Let me rewind a little bit. I want everyone to hear that.
See those fringes?
Yeah, so as Kdub pointed out, if you look right over here, so right there where my thumb is, the dude has, it's the other way for you. It's kind of tricky, right?
Yeah.
Look, you'll see fringes. Now, they're going to be more clear later. But also, you should have noticed that was the first Kwam Yasharallah. What's your experience with Kwam Yasharallah, Kdub? Not everybody doesn't know what it means.
Well, yeah, what it means is rise Israel, but typically with what you when you hear it being done, it's when something either humiliating or violent happening. So typically when people kiss the boots of Israel, kiss the boots of the Israelites, you hear they'll say Kwam Yasharallah. You know, so this will be a rise Israel moment, which is kind of sickening. Not kind of, it is.
Yeah, you have 6 Jakes assaulting someone perceived to be of another nation, you know, jumping him. And this is perceived as something to look at as something positive for the Hebrew Israelite religion. And when one Westers try to tell us they're not violent, they're not about violence, they shun violence, look at stuff like this.
Right. They're encouraging it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, they're right. He's right there in the mix. Now, what would a righteous man do? A righteous man would do what the people did later, which is protect, right?
Right.
Perfect illustration is the Good Samaritan. Perfect illustration of this story, of what it should have been. Well, now watch this. So he's videoing it. I want everyone to see if we can find out what Hebrew Israelite channel this pops up on. I have a feeling it's going to be a House of Israel channel, because these gentlemen, at least that one, is associated with House of Israel. That's Zabak's and Chief Ephraim's people, the pull-up boys, House of Israel. And Zabak has been known, Elder Zabak, he's an older gentleman at this point, usually gets down in Brooklyn. There's some stories about him having his crew jump on people and then skedaddle. Now, in this particular instance, I'm not saying Zabak did that, because if we watch this video, you're going to see Zabak is trying to get out of there before something else happens. So I'm not saying that that was the case, but you see at least one of the guys that looks like to be a House of Israel. And there's 2 other Hebrew Israelites who are going to make a cameo in this particular video as well. There's one. What do you see there?
There was actually a third one in all white before.
Wait, you talking about the guy with the staff? Because I know that guy. You talking about another guy?
Go back a little, because
I know the guy with the staff, if that's who you're talking about.
It might be. I don't remember him having a staff. Like, he's the first one actually getting the gun.
Okay, I'm watching.
Right there. Yeah.
See, you talking about the guy with the plaid and the black pants and the staff?
Yeah.
So I know that. Yeah, I know that guy. And again, notice, it's not on camera, but he's taking his stick into the melee. Remember, we did a whole video, Kdub, and now it's up on your YouTube channel about Watchmen for Israel and their propensity to hit people with their sticks out in Orlando in that case. So there's one. Now, again, what does the Bible say love does? Love rejoices not with evil, but it rejoices with the truth. These men, obviously, they rejoice. So see that guy, he's got the camo pants, he's got the black boots, he's got the fringes. It's funny how these guys are actually these guys are so much like the Pharisees. Remember the Pharisees went to Pilate and around John 17, John 8, I think it's John 18 if I'm not mistaken. And they're like, "Hey, we can't come in, we don't want to be made unclean." Right? Like they're talking to them. Meanwhile, they're planning deicide. And even if they didn't think Jesus was God, they're planning to murder the Messiah, basically. An innocent man, even if they didn't think he was the Messiah. They don't want to be unclean by a Gentile's house. That's one Westers. He's got his fringes on. This man in the black shirt, right up above the guy with the braided hair, he has a giant Bible verse from Isaiah on his shirt.
Right.
So rocking a Bible verse, rocking the fringes, keeping the law while cheering on an assault. What if this, God forbid, what if these injuries, because he was kicked in the head while down, what if this would have led to this man's death?
Right.
They would have been Kwam Yasharawing it. And I bet you, when they heard about the death, they would have said a couple more Kwam Yasharalas. That's the nature of One Westism. It's wicked, it's demonic, it's a scourge on the streets, and it's a bane to the church. They're all three at this point. You can see all three of the Hebrew Israelites. You got Stick Man, you got Camel Man, and you got Cameraman. And someone, I think, is off camera, it appears, saying Kwam Yasharala. It could be one of them, but it seems like it's someone off camera, right?
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
And meanwhile, the guy's still on the mic. Now, I've been around these kind of situations, and I've watched these kind of videos before. I guarantee you, if the speaker's aware of what's happening, they're not saying, hey, guys, stop that.
Right.
They're saying, this is like when Peter chopped off Malchus's ear.
Right.
This is like when David slew Goliath. That's what they always do, because I've seen this before. Watch this guy in the red. Watch this guy in the red. Boom. Oh, did you hear that on the mic?
Esau.
I heard Esau. I heard Esau on the mic. So, I mean, we could only, somebody that wanted to really do the audio, they could probably isolate the audio enough to know what was being said. Right. But, I mean, we kind of already know. I think we're doing good enough investigative work here. But you hear someone saying something about Esau on the mic.
Yep. It ain't nothing positive. We know that.
Yeah. But, you know, it sounds like it's commentary on the situation, and it's probably in the vein of Kwam Yasharala. So you can tell he's had a scripture reader there, because you can see there's two different voices. You can tell there's a guy shouting out a scripture. Again, can't tell it's scripture there, but something. So this is what's going on with One Westism these days. They're not always directly involved with the violence, like, of course, Watchmen for Israel, literally beating people, battering a drunk man with staffs, with sticks, right? They're not always the ones doing that. Sometimes they're encouraging it, or at the very least, not stopping it. But in this case, they're obviously cheering it on, right?
Right.
And you can see it. I'm going to turn down the audio to this, and then I'm going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit over the next, 10 minutes of it, as it kind of play in the background. It would seem that the Hebrew Israelites would see this as a sign of the wickedness of Jake or something like that.
You're right.
But instead, they see people who they would still call as Jakes. They're essentially doing something that appears to be good to them. I mean, this... man, you gotta understand the type of wickedness that the One West religion produces and encourages.
Yep.
So, K-Dub, let's get some commentary. As this is going to kind of play in the background. I've got the volume low because you've watched several videos on this, and we've been talking about this past few days as we've been, getting ready for this discussion. Let's hear what you got to say, K-Dub.
Yeah, man. Just a wicked event. One of the things I try to do is put myself in the shoes of what would I do if I was out evangelizing, going out on the streets, preaching, and a fight just broke out. I think I would hope one of the things I know I wouldn't do is be going up with a video camera talking about Kwam Yasharala or praise the Lord. I know I wouldn't do that. But I would hope that I obviously would help out someone getting, knocked unconscious. It just shows that their religion is all outer. it's no inward, like, man, that the Spirit of God that they boast in so much isn't causing them conviction. It isn't causing them just human decency. Like, I don't know the conditions of these people that are helping this man, but they're in a better condition. They care more for humanity than the Hebrew Israelites does. That's the wild thing.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be Bible obeyers, right?
Right. And just the stirring up, rather than the, talking civility, like you said, into Jake. You would think this would be actually a perfect moment for waking your people up, but rather they're caught in the flesh just like these people are.
Yeah, it shows how Hebrew Israelism is consist of unregenerate men and women reading the Bible to justify their wickedness.
Yep.
And I mean, it's a tragic thing because as Hebrew Israelism grows, I think we're going to be seeing more stuff like this. Because I've noticed these are not folks who should be trusted with power. Now, power in general corrupts. I believe that's a reality, right? And now here we are, and these guys get a little bit of power, meaning people under their sway, under their influence. And I think you're only going to be seeing more of this kind of stuff, unfortunately. And it's bad news. Shout out to the brother Ramondo for being there and holding it down, being faithful. You can hear the sirens in the background now. And I think the crowd really started to scatter at that point. But shout out to the people who around him to kind of protect him at this point.
Right.
Praise God. There's people in this situation who actually have care and concern. It looks like that guy might be checking his pulse. Different things like that. And it looks like I saw the first police. The police. It looks like they're going to the crowd. The first thing, I don't know what they're doing because I saw them going that way. They're not going directly to the man yet. So if you were a police officer called in this situation, what kind of things would you be doing right now, K-Dub?
Getting witnesses, first, just trying to see if anybody got anything. I was first thing checking on this guy, making sure he's okay. That'd be first. Kind of getting story of what happened from anybody who seemed to be knowledgeable of what happened. And so that would be the first two things I could think of that you would immediately be doing.
Dinu notes he is out. That's a head injury.
You can hear at one point, this was kind of like when it first happened. Some girl, you can hear her vaguely say, "Oh, he's leaking." He's leaking.
I heard that. I was wondering what that. I was wondering, are they saying like this dude's bleeding? That's why I asked Rondo, was he bleeding? I heard that.
Yeah, that's what I gathered from that. Like, he's bleeding pretty good.
I guess.
That even looks now like that guy's right now putting pressure on his head. That's what it. Does it look like he's doing that too? Like.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
He got his hands on his head.
Yeah.
Or face.
Yeah. It could be. Sometimes when things happen like this, people will wet themselves. After they're unconscious or something. Maybe that'd be a charitable explanation because that'd obviously be less concerning, I guess. But I was like, because she was like, it sounded like she was saying he's leaking. Let's get out of here.
Right.
So it seemed to be like, yo, this dude bleeding. Oh, I think maybe there's his bags that they got that he mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you notice in the video there was an orange and white cooler earlier during the fight element of it, and there was a white chair? The reason I bring that up is I'm gonna go to some other video I have. It's the last video that I have, and I'm gonna look for those elements in the video. But did you notice that too?
Yeah, and you see the girl, I believe she was a girl with the short hair, the black girl, pick up the chair, and she's like hitting the dude on the ground with it. So yeah. I saw the cooler right by the chair.
Yeah, so I'm gonna in this next video, because while this is winding down, I'm gonna tell everyone what I'm gonna play next. What I'm gonna play next is a video uploaded right around this same time, and from the same exact area. Notice the tattoo shop. Can you look off in the distance, everyone? There's an SUV cop car, and there's a red and white neon sign that says tattoo. I forget what the place next to it says, but you can kind of recognize the signage. Keep that signage in mind. Do you know what those other ones are? Perhaps K-Dub? I can't tell what those other ones are.
No, looks like maybe a food store next to that tattoo.
No, almost one looks like a Harley Davidson logo. But I know the one says tattoo as I watch this. So what I'm going to play next as this ends is another video that is from House of Israel. HOI Hopeful Elect. They are an older One West group that has not experienced as much growth as a lot of the other One West camps. A little bit more East Coast based. But amongst people who get into Hebrew Israelism, who study the old school, Zabak, Elder Zabak, I think he's called, he does have their respect for holding it down so long, because he's been around a while, done a lot of stuff. Now, he's a pretty, to be frank with you, wicked individual. You know, when you hear the stuff that comes out of his mouth and the stuff that he encourages and says, all you got to do is watch House of Israel videos, and you'll see Zabak and his theology on full display, and it is not good. But you got Elder Zabak is the leader of House of Israel. The most other well-known person in House of Israel is someone who goes by Chief Ephraim, is a Puerto Rican cat from Brooklyn. People became familiar with him in January of 2019 during the Covington Kids Showdown, where you had the MAGA hat-wearing kids, and they were out there for the March for Life, and there was also the Indigenous Peoples thing out there in D.C., and what happened is the HOI was out there too, the Hebrew Israelites, specifically the House of Israel camp, led by Chief Ephraim, and they were out there saying massively crazy stuff. I did 2 videos on this. You definitely want to see those videos. I really analyzed the kind of stuff that they were saying. And now the news focused on the showdown between Nick Sandman and I believe Nathan Phillips, who was a Native American gentleman, and they made it seem like it was some kind of disrespectful thing, and there's all this thing about the kid's smirk being a sign of white privilege. And Reza Aslan said he has a punchable face, which is a strange thing to say about a minor. Like, these are grown adults on Twitter talking about, you know, punching a child in the face. Right. And Nick Sandman sued one of the major news media outlets and actually won some money. Kind of a fascinating thing. You could look all this up because this directly related to House of Israel. They were really the catalyst that led to this showdown. It really wasn't about the Native American gentleman. And while the kids, for the high school kids from Covington, Kentucky, which is just on the other side of the Ohio River from Cincinnati. So Covington is kind of like an extension of downtown Cincinnati, right where the Red Stadium and the Bengal Stadium are. And the other side over there in Covington, Kentucky. So Covington, Kentucky, like I said, might as well, you just cross a bridge and it's like you're still in Cincinnati, but technically you're in Covington, Kentucky. So these kids are at a private Catholic school out there waiting on the bus, and they had this big showdown. Again, I encourage you to watch my videos on it. The news kind of caught it, and that was one of the first times people were like, who are these Hebrew Israelites? That and the thing that happened in November, in Jersey City really caught people's attention. And they happened around the same time, within the span of 12 months, actually 9 months, I think, when you add it all up, maybe more like 10 or 11 months. But anyways, so that's what's up now. Let me see. In House of Israel, I'm going to play a video here in a second. That is House of Israel, where Chief Ephraim and Zabak, who are both East Coast guys, coming out to LA for a unity camp. It's called East Meets West, and they've uploaded at least 3 videos on HOI Hopeful Elect. And here's what's interesting. They have the same shirts. that same golden border with the black with the Isaiah scripture on the back, same shirts, and you're going to recognize some things that let you know in some way House of Israel and the Unity Camp people. I don't know the names of the other camps because Unity Camp involves more than one camp, and usually it's of different brands. You know what I'm saying? It's usually not just multiple HOIs, although sometimes they'll do that. So whoever else is in LA that's down with HOI or whatever, and that might count for sort of the diversity of the uniforms that you're going to see. We're going to play video, and you're going to see that these are associated in some way. D News says that cop and now firefighter is maintaining his cervical spine. At this point, you consider spinal injury too. So she's talking about what they're doing to make sure. People say giving, and people, oh, yeah. So while I set up this next video, Kdub, there's still people coming in right now, and I don't think they know what happened. Can you explain, could you give a little rundown? This is what we call in radio a reset, a rundown of what happened before I play this last footage to people coming in and how it relates to Hebrew Israelism and Hebrew Israelites being involved in a potential hate crime.
Yeah, so the guy that you guys saw on the ground kind of, getting assisted by medics, the story goes from the news that he got off the subway, the train, and told some preachers that they were doing it wrong, they were preaching wrong, or the things they were saying were incorrect.
They had the wrong message, yeah, is what the news said, yeah.
Yeah, they had the wrong message. Next thing you know, a fight breaks out. And what we see from the video that's relevant from the gentleman we had on earlier was Hebrew Israelites pretty much cheering it on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't seem like anyone engaged in throwing punches that we saw, but they definitely were cheering it on. They wasn't, they was encouraging wickedness. And so that's what we came to do, to give a commentary on that and show how they were involved in this.
Now, let's take a look at that footage. I have not turned up the volume yet. Turned up the volume yet. Thanks for that rundown. I think that was a good, accurate rundown, Kdub. Let's take a look at this before we turn up the volume. What do you see with the shops in the background there, Kdub?
The same colors that we saw from... I mean, the guy was actually right, because I thought,
15 feet away, right?
Yeah, because I was like, there's no way they were that close.
They were that close.
They probably were about 15 feet.
yeah, I think he was spot on. So you notice it says tattoo in the background. I pointed that one out. I can't see what the red and green one says, but that's a place you guess might be a food spot. And it was a Harley Davidson sign.
Yeah,
if you look when he moves, it's Harley Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't tell what the other things are, but this would make them about 15 feet away because they are on the same side of the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it looks like I see black chairs because he said it was a vendor, so he may be right. Or he may have mistook something with the Hebrew Israelite set up as a vendor. I only see black folding chairs. I'd be curious to see if one of the chairs they grabbed was from the Hebrew Israelites, if they were still there. So look for a white folding chair, perhaps. It may not be there. I have not done this element yet. It's just something to look for. And look for an orange or white cooler. Now, that could be strictly from a vendor, like you said, because that would seem to put them too close. So there probably was a vendor right there who was like, man, what's going on around me? But nonetheless, we see from this angle that they would have been that far away, right?
Uh-huh.
And then also, I want everyone to take a look. So understand the background I just gave you. If you look on their shirts, it's kind of hard to make out it's stylized. But that is a House of Israel shirt. You can see the H and the O and the I right in there. And the man in the center holding the mic, that is Zabak, whom I told you about earlier. Now, when I went to L.A., with the brothers, I was there with David Wood and Adam Coleman, and actually Sam Miguel chilled for a minute. Shout out to him. He's the one who showed me this video. Alfredo, BK Apologist was there. John McCrae, whatever. When we went out there, we went and we tried to catch up with Zabak. We were trying to get him where he was in Brooklyn. We weren't able to run into him and get with him, but because I wanted to have a face-to-face conversation with him. And actually, it's interesting. Some of you know I've been on Sonetta a few times. Sonetta tried to set up a debate with myself or discussion, whichever he wanted, was Zabak and myself, because I guess Sonetta knows Zabak. And he said, that white boy, he's just looking for attention. He's not worth my time. That's what Zabak said about me. And you know, Sonnet always wants beef, right? So he's trying to encourage him, going, hey, come on, if he's so easily refutable, come on and do it on the show for everyone to see. But he didn't want to or whatever, which is interesting because he'll it's like, who wants attention? You're the one been out in Brooklyn, you uploading your videos on the mic for all these years, you know, dressing how you dress, doing what you do. Like, clearly you want attention for your message, you know, calling yourself these titles and whatnot. And you always try to embarrass people. You call them names. I see the titles in your videos, but, you know, not with me or whatever. Okay. And there's something else I want to point out here. Do you notice what they have? You know, their necklaces or chains or whatever, that, you know, that's a menorah, right?
Yep.
So they have the menorah on their shirt, like the one guy, but then these other two dudes, they actually have menorah like jewelry, right? Here's why I bring that out. Do you remember? I don't even remember if it was both of us. I don't remember even. I apologize. I don't remember who was on that show or not. Around the 20th anniversary of 9/11, I did a live stream on this channel about some Hebrew Israelites who reported to crash the 9/11 20th anniversary memorial. We didn't do that one together. Was I solo on that one?
Yeah, you were by yourself.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't even sure, man. I'll be losing track. Okay, so I did that one solo, and I was frustrated by the reporting a little bit because I get it. The reporting was about the 20th anniversary of the 9/11, you know, these people observing it, you know, what had happened. But it described a bunch of Hebrew Israelites there who were spouting 9/11 conspiracy theories at this memorial, right? You know, these guys are not known for their tact or their care, concern, or love, or appropriate, none of that. And so they're out there doing that. So I looked into some of the conspiracy theories they mentioned, such as the fallacy that Jews were emailed to get out of New York and to not go to work that day or that kind of thing, because the reporter for the Forward mentioned the Hebrew Israelites were spouting that, as well as some other things. But here's why I bring that all together before I turn up this audio. And while I'm doing that, also, Kate, if you see any things in the live chat you want to address, let me know. The reporter described them as wearing menorah medallions and jewelry and chains. And on the show, I said, I can't figure out what camp this is for sure, but let me tell you who it's not. I knew it wasn't IUIC. It did a process of elimination on one side, and then I did a possible list, like a short list of candidates of which camp was out there disturbing that on the other side. And I said my money, I would, if I was a betting man type of thing, and you can go back and watch the show. It's right on this facebook.com/vocabmalone, which you should be liking and subscribing to, following, you know, and inviting others to. You guys can do that. Said, I bet it's House of Israel because they also like drama. And I think this confirms it was House of Israel because they're the ones who rock the menorah jewelry. Now, can you read what that shirt says? Till the chariots fly. Till the chariots fly. So you want to give a guess? What do you think he means by that shirt?
Man, I know it has to do something with their kind of doctrine of I forget. It's been a while. Something with their eschatology. I know. You probably know it better than I do.
UFOs.
That's right.
Which they claim
UFOs
are chariots. So,
right.
So you know they think that UFO sightings are the black angels manning their spaceships, scouting, you know, America that they're about to destroy, and also as a confirmation when they do good. I remember when we went out to GMS and Morningside Park out there in Harlem, they said as soon as we left, they saw chariots, which is a sign that they had done well in their debate against the apologetics A-team, right?
Wow.
And so here's what we got. You know what I'm saying? He's rocking a shirt that says "Till the chariots fly." He's saying he's going to be, you know, faithfully proclaiming, you know, this message, this Hebrew Israelite stuff until the chariots fly, you know, because they're going to destroy America and then also take him out of America while the chariots are destroying America and thermonuclear destruction rains down as well. Now, there's a guy in the gray shirt with a backwards hat. He's right in front of the tattoo sign. He has a stick. He's not seen that much. He has a backwards hat. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he might have been in one of the videos that our friend took, but I'm not sure because I remember seeing someone roughly with that profile and roughly that outfit. Now, do you notice who's out there at camp with them?
Yeah, man. I was actually noticing. Before I even saw it, I thought I saw a stroller, and I'm like, no way, that's a stroller. And then I saw the mother. You got the mothers out there, and we're actually seeing more and more of this.
Yeah,
Where
it seems to be increasing, doesn't it?
yeah, mothers going to camp with their infants, toddlers to camp.
Thoughts on that trend, K-Dub? Thoughts on that? What do you think that means and stuff like that?
One, we're starting to see second generation Hebrew Israelites. I think that's the obvious, detail. But I would actually be like, man, this is probably not a safe place, given what we just saw.
Yeah, seriously, right?
For mothers and their children.
They're applauding your point right there. Now, didn't you say one body would sometimes have the women out there, I think?
Yeah, one body would have their wives, but I never saw babies out there. It was because they were a little bit older. Their wives, probably in their upper 40s, if I was just to guess in age. But
right.
There was never babies out there.
Now that we've seen Watchmen for Israel videos, what's one other potential reason that they may bring infants and toddlers along to camp?
To get their boots. The whole family got to get the boot kissed.
Yeah. They're like, I'm hoping my son can have his first.
Son, I never got this when I was your age.
Bring that stroller over here, Kwam Yasharala.
Imagine being a week old, your experience. Oh man, I can't even think of that.
A lot of people you'll have one fleeting memory from maybe when you were an infant or a baby, and then it's a gap until you're like 3 or 4. I think something like that. I think that's kind of common for a lot of people. I remember I had this one where I think it was my grandpa was carrying me, and the house right there on Ennis Gardens off of the south side of Columbus. And because the house is still in my family, and I just looked at it recently when I visited Columbus a couple weeks ago. There's a little fan that opens up on the top. It's like an old school fan. The house is built in the 50s, I believe. Goes like that, and it turns on. And I remember being super young, where I was carried. Like I had to have been maybe a year, no more than 2, but I'm gonna say a year or so, baby. And that's my first memory is looking up. My grandpa's carrying me, and I see the fan, and then it's a good gap until I'm 3 or 4. Do you have any memories? Your first memory? I'm curious what it is. If you know what it is,
man. I can't relate to any of this because I don't I struggle remembering when I was 7, let alone an infant.
Okay. Well, a lot of people have a first one. I'll be curious on the live chat. What your guys' were.
But imagine being an infant. That's your first memory, getting your boot kissed.
That's why I was going to bring that up.
But your boot, your little Timberland.
That's why I was bringing it up, because imagine that being now. Any Hebrew Israelites watching this, they're like, Kwam Yasharala!
Right. That's right.
Yeah. They're like
from the home.
Yeah! They're freaking out right now. They're all excited, wow, praise God, But imagine that. Nate says, boot kissing from an adult white dude. Fun weekend for the entire family.
It's like going to a theme park,
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yippee! So
I got my boot kissed.
So there's about 11 and a half minutes left on this video. We're going to turn it up and see the end of some kind of altercation at this, and we're going to look for any signs of how we could. We already have tied it together, and we've already seen House of Israel, Israelites that were at the melee. So we already know in some way House of Israel was associated with the melee. They were encouraging. We could just say one was Hebrew Israelites, but now we know it's at least some House of Israel members because of the shirt. Now, the other 2 gentlemen that were there, and I use the term somewhat loosely, we don't know their camp affiliation, but they know they were at the Unity camp. And that leads us to show that one of the most dangerous places you can be is at a Unity camp. All right, let me rewind it just a little bit because they're close, and so I think he's in there.
I don't know that, man. Whatever the hell, right? Just Israel in general, man. So why to all the brothers and sisters that came out, all the camps that came out,
See, that's a Unity camp. Unity camp is Walter Camps. That's what he's talking about there. He's closing it down. He's shutting it down now.
Fire, sisters on fire. Everybody looking great and strong through the spirit of the Most High, the Mashiach, Yahushua. And, if you're in the LA area, man, let's get together, let's fellowship, let's break bread. So out to all the HOI brothers that came out from the different states. Good?
HOI, that's House of Israel, everybody.
Okay.
Right, New York and New Jersey, Vegas, and all the different states the brothers came from.
So you have Vegas, New York, New Jersey, and of course California. So multiple ones at this unity camp.
Y'all got a treat, man. You got a treat out here today, man. Like, you had all the mighty men in the house, man. Right?
You're so blessed. You're so fortunate, man.
Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? The South, the South was in the building. So give it up to the Most High Yahweh Shai again, man. All right. Y'all got a beautiful treat out here this evening, man. All right. And I say, little elders are back. We see you all the time. You always out there in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? You, Rob, Judah, the LA brothers, y'all always out there. I got all the brothers coming in from the different states. Come here, Shana. Come here, Shana. Come here, Shana. And, you know, Thawada, Bashim Mashiach Yahushai, to all the HOI LA brothers for hosting. Come here, Shana. Hallelujah. Right? All praise to the Most High Yahushai. And we're going to continue to make it do what it do.
Hey, did you just say the Most High Yahushai?
Yeah, he did.
Because I wonder if he means, because you know they have that Jehovah's Witness argument that Jesus is not the Most High God. He's just.
Right.
I wonder if he's saying like the shout out to the Most High, comma,
right,
Yahushai, or is he saying the Most High Yahushai?
Right. He says it so fast, it's like kind of would be weird to put a comma there, but that's probably what he means.
But this is a Bach. He goes all the way back to the old days there, and he is the leader of his own camp called House of Israel. So they're not as well known, but historically they're important to know.
God? All praises. So, HO out to the Chariots front on the West Coast.
What a strange religion, bro. But so that's I think that's one of their slogans. HOI to the chariots fly.
That's funny.
I remember I was on an open mic once, and it was like all these underground battle rappers, and it was like in this kind of it was in the short north of Columbus, which was like super seedy until it got all gentrified, and there was blood and Crip activity in the area, and I think it was some Bloods came in, and they were like, "Oh, I rap too," so they jumped on the mic, and I remember distinctly this dude stacking, doing hand signals while he was on the mic, and this was like totally out of place because all the other guys are like battle rappers, and he's doing this thing about red and it's do a dot to the day I die. He was doing the whole thing, and I never forgot. So whenever I hear someone say to the day I don't know, it reminds me of that kind of thing. I never forgot this dude stacking on the mic. It's do a day to the day I die with the HOY to chariots fly. You know what they're saying by that? If you had to guess, who got next? We got next. That's another one of the HOI things.
If I was to guess, I guess Esau's time is over. It's Israel's turn to rule the world nation. I'm just guessing. I'm seriously guessing.
and what that shows you is it's just like how this is literally their idea of paradise and the afterlife and the kingdom is literally just this world kind of flipped upside down.
Right.
Like the old Farrakhan. A lot of people don't know Farrakhan, Nation of Islam, was a calypso singer, and he has an old song. You can listen to it on YouTube still, and it goes, "A white man's heaven into the black man's hell." It's like that's.
Hey, I just found that out watching the Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali documentary.
Oh, yeah.
They play a clip of that song, and I was like, I didn't know this dude was a singer.
Yeah, he was quite talented, actually.
Yeah, it sounded good. I mean,
I think they called him Louis Calypso or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
For how long? What we gonna do? When?
What a brainwashing religion.
Wow.
This is like watching Salafi in the Middle East going, Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! I mean, same kind of nonsense. This is not true instruction. It just shows like the brainwashing element, bro.
It sounds like a war chant. Like, you know what I mean? If I was to describe it as anything, like someone's literally about to go to war, and they're like amping themselves up for a fight.
And you wonder why right after Unity Camp, they're all jumping somebody saying the same thing.
Exactly.
It's the most dangerous place to be if you're an Israeli. in the Palestine area where there's mosques is right after Juna, which is the Friday afternoon main service that really all Muslims attend. It's kind of roughly equivalent to like their Sunday morning or something like that. They come out amped up and pumped up and ready to go. And that's why you notice a lot of terrorist attacks happen then, and or kind of those kind of things. And similar, especially during Ramadan, it's even worse. The worst place to be if you're a Gentile outsider, according to them, is at the end of a unity camp. Let me tell you. And actually, it's dangerous even for fellow Hebrew Israelites. Never forget in Tennessee that Sakari jumped FOPI members. We've discussed that as well. So Sakari, they'll also jump you. You know what I'm saying? So
when the spirit of the Most High just come upon you,
that's exactly
watch out.
That's exactly what they say. He's just milking now.
Yeah.
So with that, death and destruction.
How many times he gonna end camp?
Death and destruction to Esau and the nations.
With that, death and destruction to Esau and the nations. He's saying literally everybody who's not us, kill them all.
Right.
And people need to remember. Hey, if you're white out here, I get it. You know, you're like, I'm white. You white folks got to stop being so obsessed with the white element of the Hebrew Israelites message. You have to bring up and remember. Don't just say, what about white people? Africans, Hamitic Africans,
right?
East Indians, as they call them, Elamites, Moabites, who are the Chinese, Ammonites, who are the Japanese, and every other variety of, it would be Asian. Everyone who's seen to be Arabic, they call them Ishmaelites. All of those people, plus people of European descent, are all slaves in the future to one Westers, are all other nations, are all
and
wicked,
Jakes.
and Jakes, but theirs is a temporary destruction, but Jakes as well. Jakes as well. So I just want people to like remember, because death to destruction to Esau and all the other nations. So everybody who's not perceived by these guys to be black, Hispanic, Native American. So it's like a lot of people, because they believe, I think there's 18 nations, 17 of which are others, one of which, maybe it's 17. I just want to point that out, people. So, I also like to bring up, like, not just like, oh, what about I like to say, hey, we're saying you got an African here. You have a Filipino here. Remember that, Let's make sure that we show how hateful the message really is.
Power, peace, safety in the kingdom of heaven to the 12 tribes of Israel forever and ever. Amen. From that Charlotte, we still got next. Hallelujah.
This is the Baptist preacher. I'm closing.
Seriously. I'm getting ready to close.
He said there's some trouble. It's about to go down. So there's something going on the side, right there on the side.
You see him? Yeah. Okay.
See him?
So they call him priest too. You hear that? Priest Zabak. This man says he's a priest. Only one priest. The eternal high priest of the covenantal oath. Brand new book I got. Shout out to Elijah J. Christ. So here's the box. Hold on. So something's going on the side. So for a while you're only going to hear audio, and I know it's kind of loud here, but they actually are going to pan over towards the end. So there's like 7.5 minutes. So anytime you want to comment, oh yeah, that's a pizzeria.
Okay,
Viva Italia.
I knew it was something.
Yeah. Probably like Geno's or something.
See, it's going down. Get the babies out of there, women and children.
Yeah, seriously. They set up their own caution tape. Do you see that for their tent? I'm having trouble believing they had a permit for all that. Maybe they're just allowed to do it out there. I don't know. But it's funny. It's quite a setup,
Yeah.
What's up, Charles DeLong? How you doing? Hey, Jonathan Green. Now you hear cursing.
Fuck you, nigga. You know what I mean? Fuck you,
She has more reason than her husband.
Yeah. D New and Nate, tell Jonathan Green how many demerits he gets for being late, by the way. I'm trying to make out anything said here. There's only 6 minutes left in the video, everybody. So we're just looking for final clues, and they are going to pan the camera over. Oh, wait. I did want to show that part. You can actually see, remember in the video where the man is assaulted by 6 people and the guy runs up? He has the same identical shirt, and I want to show you that is true what I was saying. It's a shirt with Isaiah on the back. Isaiah, well, can you see it?
Isaiah 58:1.
Isaiah 58:1.
Let's see what that says.
Yeah, let's look that up while that's going on. So that is the same shirt. That dude was a House of Israel member. So they are involved in or encouraging, whatever you want to say, all right, with a hate crime.
Wow. Look at this verse.
What does it say, bro?
It says, "Cry aloud, do not hold back. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Declare to my people their transgressions, to the house of Jacob their sins."
Oh, so it's basically they're looking at it like a pep verse for their street preaching.
Right.
That's what they're thinking of it as is.
They should have been telling Jacob of his sins.
Yeah, great point. Jake is out there clearly sinning.
Yeah.
Let's turn this up here. We only got 5 minutes left, and they are going to pan over, so you're going to see a little bit what's going on, including one of their members mixing it up very heavily. And this shows you, again, the spirit of these men is wicked. You'll see what I'm saying. Just watch. There's 5 minutes left here. 2 billion demerits, by the way, Jonathan Green. You can tell someone's from Brooklyn. Get out of here.
Stand by over there. Nigga, get a call. Nigga, get a call if you got that shit. You broke ass nigga. Hey, you nigga, you don't got. Nigga, fuck you, nigga. You a broke ass nigga. Nigga, you don't. Nigga, fuck you.
He's just parked out there. Hebrew Israelites act like they're persecuted, but they've got this whole setup. They got their car downtown LA like that.
All right.
For real? Oh shit.
Sorry about the language, everybody. Because you could tell one of their guys gets in. He's like, oh, my bad. 3.5 minutes left. We're just winding down.
All right, be safe out here, bro. Hey, fuck yourself.
Hey, saw that?
I'm sorry, man.
Our gang powers? That dude has a shirt on that says our gang powers.
The dude with the headband on to the right was, yeah, man, he's just using some foul language right there.
Oh, right now? That guy?
Yeah, and then the dude pats him on the back, like almost like calm down.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Bro, I wonder if something on Facebook happened that spewed this fight as well. And that white guy just might have got caught in the mix because somebody said you were saying something on Facebook.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh man, so that's why. See, you be catching stuff too, bro. All right, all right. Yeah.
So I wonder if something spewed off on Facebook. The white guy came in and just said the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's
yeah, maybe.
You know,
just everyone remember, you know, I watched season 2, episode 8, I believe it was the last episode of Chosen recently, which I know people have different views on, whatever. But in that, Christ is getting ready to preach the Beatitudes. And I always remember, blessed are the peacemakers. Hebrew Israelites, remember that Yahushua, as you ignorant call him, said that. Blessed are the peacemakers. Are you guys blessed?
For real? Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, all right. You have this like, I'm just watching the camera, man. I get all this, just watch the camera. Someone gonna try to slide off the camera. I don't want nobody to slide off the camera.
Well, they got their YouTube channel. YouTube.com/Awaken Israel.
yeah.
House of Israel NYC@gmail.com. Well, there we see that. Someone check out YouTube Awaken Israel. I wonder if any of this footage has been uploaded to their channel. There's only 3 minutes left, so they're going to pan over in a little bit here. I thought they did it sooner, but you'll see. We're just following this through, everybody.
Hold on.
Yep, Isaiah 58:1. Clear as day. And notice it's the same direction as that fight would eventually go down.
Right. They're right there, man.
Because you see that, what looks to be like a Slimer on top of that building, whatever that is on the right side of your screen, that's exactly the background of the assault that happened later. The brother was right there about 50 feet away, so they were still there at that time. Somebody was. Interesting. So let's see who we see in there. Yeah, I guess that's a Foot Locker.
Oh, this is some? Hold on to that. Nobody make it home. Nobody make it.
It appears, so if you look on the right, in the midst of the crowd, one of the dudes arguing back is one of the HOI members, and he gets pretty loud. You're going to see here in a second. Watch this, everyone. The guy with
three of them.
There's
three of them.
What do you mean? There's a lot of Hebrew Israelites in the crowd.
Yeah. There's actually, I see at least 3.
There's this guy right here with the red and purple, and there's this guy with the headband. There's this guy, and then there's the guy who's yelling. There's this guy. There's quite a few I see going on here. See, he's going at it. And again, these are men of the Lord. Look at them go at it.
This unity camp.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a man of peace. Look at this.
You heard that?
I can't hear what he's saying.
He said, as soon as I whoop your A, we're going to make a phone call. I don't know what that means.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah.
That was the HOI guy that was yelling.
Yeah, it is. It's clearly him. You can see with the arm motion.
Yeah, because I saw that, but I'm glad you can hear. I got my headphones on and everything, but it's hard for me to make out what he's saying. Okay, well, that's what he's saying. Well, anything else you catch?
You know I got these detective ears, man.
I see, bro. You got those ninja ears. Here we go. He's getting all close. I mean, these dudes are trying to fight out in the street. There's Chief Ephraim. So I put Nuss over his face, so right here. That now, I mean, see, this is like a lot of Hebrew Israelites in the crowd. You see at this point.
Yeah.
But here's Chief Ephraim. He's the guy from the Covington situation from Brooklyn who sometimes watches videos on this channel. Because sometimes he'll respond.
I'm trying to get this here. Right here. Just put them right here for you. I don't know who they are, but I know. It's live.
Imagine trying to go through that crowd. Hey, you see right here? The guy's got a knife. That's why it's like, that's why I'm not a big fan of Hebrew Israelites carrying weapons at camp, because they're prone to use them in the wrong situation. That's right. You're gonna see there's gonna be a guy in the right hand right here. He's got a blade on his hip right there. You see it pretty clear. You see it?
Yeah, I see it.
He's got the fringes of the gray. You hear that? That's the Hebrew Israelite. You hear him?
I'm tired of these BA.
How is this any different than what you would like hear in the world? It's not.
I'll hold this camera. I got it. Yeah.
Hey, I wonder who the dude is with the shirt off. Is that like a Hebrew Israelite or just like a?
You can't tell, right? Because once you lose his fringes, he's just another,
a regular
Jake.
dude.
What's this about the phone call?
Yeah, I don't know. But now somebody's grabbing that dude.
Yo, let's go. Come on, let's back up.
Oh, there's the vendor. I'm pretty sure that's the vendor, so it looks separate than them. I'm pretty sure the guy. I'm pretty sure it's what it is. Looks like there's a little thing there. I see a cooler. It's hard to tell, but I only see black chairs on their camp. But I bet that's where the white chair came from, because he said a vendor. He probably was correct then, and it looks like some form of a cooler. That'd be my bet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop you recording, okay? Yeah.
Okay. Well. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. So I hope people learned a little bit here. I've been making the point lately that if you just pay enough attention, you'll find Hebrew Israelites in the news almost every week now. It's like a non-stop thing.
As I was getting ready to upload this video, I was actually... Vocab sent me a conclusion of this video to really reaffirm and confirm many of the conclusions that we came to. I do want to warn you, and I should have made this warning from the beginning, but definitely now, if you have children around that you like to watch this show with you, please, this is only for sensitive eyes only. What we will be seeing, a lot will be disturbing, but I do want to make that warning before I start to play this video, so I'll give you time to remove the children. Obviously, it'll be language issues, but you guys will see what I mean here in a second. There will be a man. I'll just be forth and tell you, there will be a man dressed like a woman, and obviously, it will be, uneasy to the eyes. I don't say that jokingly. Obviously, the things around him are fake. Then not, and I don't mean that in a plastic surgery type of way. You'll be able to tell what I mean, and so I just want to warn you, because those things will be addressed by the Hebrew Israelites, and I don't agree how they address the situation. Of course not. But it will be disturbing. But ultimately, this is how the fight or the exchange with the man who was brutally attacked and beat up started. So hopefully that was enough time to remove your children. If you say, hey, this video is not for me at this point, I totally understand. But here we go.
Like you would be a transgender. You would you probably cut your rod off. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not even transgender. I'm a man dressing as a female. And so a lot of this video I'm actually just going to play and just kind of add commentary where needed, because just to hear the exchange of what happens, I think it's important to hear.
Recite that shit. What you got? Deuteronomy 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness. What did the Most High do to this brother right here? The Lord shall smite thee with madness. Madness. You gotta be mad.
And so, if you recall, the guy right there who has the microphone, brown shoes, black. This is the guy, I believe, who actually is attacked and is actually beat up. So we'll see later how this fight actually encounters. So I'll let him continue.
To be a man and put breast on and have hormone pills and do all that to look like a woman. Hey, listen, you guys. The Most High. You guys are men of God, right? Yeah, we're the men of God. We're the children of Israel. We're not here for you, Esau. We're not here for you, Esau. The Most High don't know your nation. The Most High said that you don't even do it. Go ahead. About me. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 1. He that is wounded.
So this scene is very chaotic. And the Black Hebrew Israelites do nothing to dispel the audience or de-escalate, that's for sure. But it continues.
The stones and have this privy member cut off shall not into the congregation of the Lord. We got it there? Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 1. He that is wounded.
And the man here is obviously wearing these figures upon his body. Like I said, that's not the point of this video. Maybe some other time. Obviously, I don't agree with it, but that doesn't mean what's going to be done is okay.
And the stones,
two wrongs don't make a right.
Or have this privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. But the Most High said you're not going to enter the congregation of the Most High God. You're going to be put to death. You're going to be put to death. Being a homosexual, lesbian, and transgender. That's what's wrong with America. This is what the white man has done to this country. And he's turning everybody out. This is Western society. This is the Western society. But one thing, I can eat a whole bunch. I eat good, and I got kids. I'm procreated. I done my job. I done my job.
And so, let's go back there, because this is actually where the fight begins. The Hebrew Israelites gonna, put their hands on him, and he's gonna retaliate back. He's unregenerate, just like them. So let's go back.
The Most High God, you're gonna be put to death. You're gonna be put to death. Being a homosexual, lesbian, and transgender. That's what's wrong with America. This is what the white man has done to this country. And he's turning everybody out. This is Western society. This is the Western society.
So make sure you watch the guy in the black with the beard.
But one thing, I can eat a whole bunch. I eat good, and I got kids. I'm procreated. I done my job.
So he takes a step forward. It wasn't an aggressive step like he was trying to get to him. It looked like he just wanted to say something, and boom, hand to the chest. That's a big no-no, like when, two men are arguing and discussing. And so guess what?
Done my job.
He pushes back, and that's kind of what starts the commentary with me and Vocab. But there's going to be more to this.
But the demons is out.
People
today.
trying to get world star videos, trying to get famous.
Long as he don't do nothing. This guy thinks he's an MMA fighter. What you think, you Conor McGregor? Do you think you Conor McGregor? This brother think he's Conor McGregor. Think that he can. He's on.
I just noticed they're playing a movie right here. I don't know what movie is this. Some slave movie. That's very interesting. They'd be playing a film at camp. I've never seen that, so I guess for being innovative, they sure are.
A weekend warrior, guys. Don't worry about him. He's a weekend warrior. You brothers get in order. You brothers come back. Get back on the line. He's a weekend order. Hey, get back. He's a weekend warrior. He's a weekend warrior. He thinks he's Conor McGregor. He gonna go back and talk all that stuff. Hey, I talked 4 or 5 black guys in front of the water cooler. He gonna be talking all that stuff at the water cooler. Oh boy, the demons is out here. We got another fight. The king of the tribe of Judah is going against. That's what it is. And we're in the last day. The tribe of Judah is going to raise up against Esau and these other nations. That's what I love. We're going to rise up against these other nations.
They love it. You hear that? He loves to see this. I want to hear the commentary he gives, but that's disturbing.
You whites, you Chinese, you Arabs, we're going to rise up against you and take this kingdom according to the scriptures. So you guys got to understand that that's the spirit.
That's the spirit. Not the spirit of God, I'll tell you that. It is a spirit, but not the spirit of God.
We don't have time for you coons. Like Terry Crews jumping around in a pink suit. Let me go ahead and show you that picture. This is Terry Crews.
Let's get to...
That we rising up against these other nations. Because we're sick of the white man, and we're sick of everything. He's trying to vaccinate everybody. This kingdom is going to rise up. So you guys got to understand that. And boy, is he red. Just like the scriptures say. Give me, he is red. Go ahead, give me that scripture about Esau, the scripture of Esau in the book of Genesis. He is red and hairy.
He's not even hairy, really. I mean, from my angle.
This man thinks he's Hulk Hogan out here. You know all my little Hulkamaniacs out here, brother. This man thinks he's Hulk Hogan out here. But that's how the white man is, a cave beast. This is him, a cave beast that dwells in mountains. That is Esau to the first. Go ahead and give me that scripture in the book of Genesis about Esau. Red and hairy and dwell in caves. This is the descendant of a white man. A Neanderthal. Esau. This is the big Esau.
Just gonna skip forward a little bit. So this is the beginning of actually our video, where the man, he starts to get attacked.
You are the devil the Bible speaks of. That's right, at least he admitted that he is the devil. That's right, he admitted that he's the devil. So you guys gotta understand that. We have a lot of things going on in the world. Now we got Esau fight. That's Conor McGregor right there.
So,
Conor McGregor.
The same guy that was there, he's saying he's still calling him Conor McGregor, is now getting assaulted.
This scrap ball after he's trying to fight us. Order. Just come over here. So, see how the Most High done it? The Most High got the spirit of Jacob beat up on everybody.
What? Hold on a second.
See how the Most High done it?
Look at this. You have the security cops right there on the left, and they don't do anything. Oh man, that's kind of frustrating. But let's continue.
The Most High got the spirit of Jacob beat up on everybody. They better not come over here, though. That's right. Look at that. The Jets is beating them. That's right.
Look at that guy right there, man. He's excited. The guy in the plaid, he's excited. Man, you just see him cheering? Watch him.
The spirit of Jacob beat up on everybody.
He's excited.
They better not come over here, though. That's right. Look at that. The Jets is beating them.
Look at him.
That's right.
Wow. Look at that. The guy is out cold.
I thought he was tough. Is he knocked out?
Knocked out on the floor.
That's right. See what happens?
Yo, bring it out,
man. Get some more time. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
They are excited, enthralled, jubilated. What other word you can think of to the excitement of that wickedness that just happened?
Bring it out, man.
Yeah, Con, give me Galatians 6 and 7. See, the Most High don't play, man. The Most High don't play. The Most High don't play. All right, and now you see some of our simple people, they want to jump in for Esau, man. Because our people are simple as hell. Give me Galatians.
So notice who he's calling simple. Not the people that attacked the man, but the people are helping the man who just got attacked. You hear the craziness of that? Who is simple? The people helping. Wow. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Yeah, that's exactly what I think of.
Akim, back in order. Give me Galatians 6 and 7. Give me the book of Galatians chapter 6 verse 7. That's what the Most High does, man. That's why I stayed calm the whole time.
Notice he's calling that an act of the Most High.
All right, because the Most High gonna put you to death when you mess with his servants, man. You can't make this up. You cannot make this stuff up. Get back in order, Akim.
Yeah, you can't make it up. You can't make up people who would think that's an act of God, that God is pleased with that.
Order, Akim. All right, give me Galatians 6 and 7. Read.
Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived.
The Lord said, be not deceived. Come on.
God is not mocked.
You can't mock the Most High. Go ahead.
For whatever a man soweth,
For whatsoever a man soweth, go ahead.
that shall he also reap.
The Lord said, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You come against the Most High servants, you're going to reap what you sow. All right, you try to square up against the middle of the Lord, and you get stomped out in the middle of Hollywood and Highland.
And by Jakes.
All right, by Jakes, by our brothers from our own nation. We tell you, Black, Latino, and Native American, you need to start sticking together, man. You need to start shooting and murdering each other in the hood and stick together.
Stop shooting each other and stop beating up on the white man. What a strange religion. What a cult.
Again, Galatians 6 and 7.
Be not deceived. God is not mocked.
The Lord said, be not deceived. God is not mocked. Come on.
For whatever a man soweth,
Whatsoever a man soweth, come on.
that shall he also reap.
Revelation 11 and 5. All right, you're not going to come up against the men of the Lord and get away with it. Right, the Most High will have them death angels come see you, boy. The Most High will have them spirits of judgment come see you, boy. All right, don't mess with the men of the Lord or your ass
You guys are not men of the Lord. Just in case that needed clarification.
will get dealt with. All right, read what you got, brother. Revelation 11 and 5.
11 verse 5. And if any man will hurt them,
The Lord said, if any man try to hurt the servants of the Lord, go ahead.
fire proceedeth out of their mouth.
What the Lord say?
Fire proceedeth out of their mouth.
Again for the top. Revelation 11 and 5. Read.
Let me skim through here.
Go ahead.
He will prophesy.
The Lord said, and the fire can just represent with this word. Put that power on the servants of our prophets no harm. All right, and don't lie to the damn police because we ain't touch nobody. The Most High had y'all judged. All right, read again.
Funny. I wish he would say that to the other camp who was beating the guy with sticks. But no, you actually, he didn't particularly. But yeah, you guys did push him. Y'all did.
It's how Psalms 105 verse 15.
Saying, touch not my anointed.
The Lord said, touch not mine anointed. Come on.
And do my prophets no harm.
Do the prophets of the Lord no harm, man. You ain't gonna do that, son. See, you come up here, Esau try to square off and everything, and what happened? You got your ass lumped up, man. You got your ass lumped the hell up, man. Give me
Notice this religion doesn't know how to bridle the tongue, which is actually what James calls like pure basic religion, but
Proverbs 17:11.
cults do what cults
Get
do.
your ass stomped out into oblivion. They stomped that devil out into oblivion. Right? You got knocked the butt out. I'm having a Friday moment. You got knocked the butt out. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess with the men of the Lord, man, or your ass will get dealt with. Simple as that. Leave us the hell alone. You don't.
This stuff stands as its own commentary in one sense. It stands as its own refutation.
What we saying? Take your ass down the block. You can go to Hollywood and Vine. All right, but up here, we the men of the Lord. We're going to teach this gospel. Thus saith the Lord.
Gospel. Good news.
Thus saith the Holy Bible. And you so-called white people in the other nations, you haven't gotten paid back for what you have done anyway. You haven't begun to receive the judgment for things the evil you have done in the earth, man. You haven't begun to receive the payment that God has for you, man. You haven't begin to feel the things that we felt. What about we felt as a nation? What about what we still feeling? What about what we going through every day as a people? What about what's happening to us all the time? But nobody cares about that, right? The black man's supposed to just suffer. We supposed to just suffer.
I'm thinking about texts like, vengeance of the Lord is of the Lord. He's like, nah, Jake will handle that.
Take it on the chin, turn the other cheek.
Which is the Bible.
Brother's keeper. I don't want to see nobody else hurt or die. We don't need no more hatred and racism.
Yeah, we don't. They're literally saying the opposite of what Scripture says. That's kind of funny. Well, it's kind of odd and disturbing.
We supposed to be all good, right? We supposed to be all good. We supposed to be all good, and we supposed to be oh no. Every time you slap me on the cheek, I turn the other cheek. But listen, you got to understand something. Why is it black, Latino, Native American, and Seminole Indian people? Why, man? Come on. Seeketh only rebellion. Lord said an evil man seeketh only rebellion.
It's amazing. They're reading texts that are talking about them.
Therefore, a cruel messenger. The Lord said a cruel messenger, a death angel or a judgment angel, that shall be sent against him. The Lord said a cruel messenger is going to be sent. They act like nothing happened. Act like he never did nothing. He want to do all this evil and wickedness to us as a people and then act like he ain't innocent. Then act like we wrong for rebuking him. All right, come on. He that covereth for transgression. The Lord said, he that covereth for transgression. Get all this pandemonium, man. Right, be on point. All right, go ahead.
Seeketh love. Lord said, he that covereth for transgression.
He that covereth for his sins and transgressions. Go ahead.
Video's almost over, guys. This is one of the last things I want to get here.
This is what happens when you...
The man is still knocked out. It's been about 10 minutes.
Against the man of the Lord. He took a swing at us.
He didn't take a swing at you guys. He pushed y'all. Yeah, he responded wickedly just like y'all.
He's knocked out. This is what happens. Judgment from the Most High. All praises. Knocked the hell out. And I love it.
He loves it. He loves it. I mean, so many scriptures come to mind. You guys in the chat, drop scriptures that literally contradict what this man is saying. It's just silly that he's loving wickedness, right? Do not love evil. I mean, there we go. That's one. Do not rejoice in evil. Look at the smiles on their face.
Slavery is over. Slavery was back then. Let bygones be bygones. It's all over with. All right, but what did the Lord say? One more time. Read it again.
He that covereth for transgression.
He that covereth for transgression. Go ahead.
Seeketh love.
Seek love. Now the so-called white man, he wants to come out here and say, oh, everything gonna be okay. We should forgive. We should forget. Everything is over. Go ahead.
He that repeateth a matter separateth very friend.
But he that repeateth a matter, you're going to separate very friends. We can't be your friend, so-called white man, because you repeat the matter. You keep rape, robbing, and murder and doing evil to our people. The Lord is everywhere at all times. God, give me Revelation 19:6.
Watch this.
Well, that's you mess around with the men of the Lord. The Lord is in all places at all times, brother. We're going to prove that. All right, give me Revelation 19:6. Read.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 6.
Did you shoot that beautiful beam footage? All right, go ahead.
Beautiful footage, eh? Disturbing, right? That these guys would call that beautiful good. They would rejoice at evil. And this is not defending the white man. I would say this regardless of the man's ethnicity. But it's disturbing. And it just kind of shows the cult behavior of the so-called Israelites, that these men they don't love righteousness. They actually don't obey the law. They don't care about the law. They care about self-righteousness. That's what they care about. But yeah, me and Vocab did this video. New information came out. We wanted to update on this information to show the dangers of this Hebrew Israelite movement as I believe it progresses. I think we'll see more of this. We want to warn you, if you go out and do ministry against them, one, bring multiple people, be as kind, as gentle as possible. And if they start to get aggressive, hey, walk away. Don't stay. That is my advice. Hope this video was helpful, guys. Until the next time, grace and peace.